What's up, guys? Kamikaze Fox coming to you one more time from SRL for the annual Indy 500. Getting ready to kick things off for the 9th running of the SRL Indy 500. So we're waiting on one more driver to join us. But we can run down our driver lineup for today and make sure that I get things right here with my spotter guide. So Sandro Dulius, the Ferrari driver in F1, will be driving for Penske Racing. He'll be driving in the yellow Submarine. Actually, it's the yellow Menards car. The yellow Submarine is Dion Stahl, but they're both going to be Team Penske. So Sandro Dulius in the number 22 Team Penske Menards car. Your 5-time F1 champion is going to be Jensen Randall in the Target Chip Ganassi number 9. Max Mulder going to be driving the number 83 Chip Ganassi Racing. Sam Brandt, who is going to take over the commentating duties come next SRL season in F1, is going to be racing today. And I think he's in a AJ Foyt. Actually, he's in the number 18 Dale Coyne machine. Manuelito is Nicolo Falzaresi, and he is supposed to be in the number 5 Schmidt-Peterson Racing Aero machine. Exist Tibbs is Sky Schundelmeyer, should be driving the number 63 Dale Coyne Racing machine, the pink and white livery. Then you have Dion Stahl in the number 2 Yellow Submarine Penske Pennzoil machine. Kaz Nuyens, not familiar with him. He's going to be driving the number 21 Ed Carpenter Racing. Tim Ventic, your Season 5 F1 champion, is going to be driving in the number 10 Chip Ganassi Racing machine. And then Ivan Brito, who just got done downloading the game so he could play, is going to be in the number 20 Ed Carpenter Racing Fuzzy's Vodka machine. So we get ready to kick things off for the 2025 Indy 500. They've been doing this since 2017. Dion Stahl is your all-time wins leader here at the Indy 500 with 4 wins. He actually won the inaugural race back in 2017. Coming home with the win, Sam Brandt was actually second that day. Some other familiar names: Sandro Dulius finished 5th, Nick Van Gelder 6th, and Yannick Verpenten, if anybody remembers him, was 7th. 7 cars participated in the first ever Indy 500. In 2018, it was Francis McGinn who would win. Dion Stahl would finish a lap down in 3rd. In fact, Francis McGinn lapped everybody that race. 2019, Vasilios Belisiotis would win the race by 0.2 of a second over Dion Stahl. It was a 2-car battle for the win that year. And in 2020, Cameron Weston Edwards, the longtime SRL veteran, would win his first ever Indy 500. And in 2021, Dion Stahl would win his second of 4. 2022, Dion Stahl wins again. 2023, Tim Ventic wins. And then last year, Dion Stahl won his 4th Indy 500. We had 14, well, technically we had 12 cars participate in last year's event. 10 cars in this year's event. So, Project Cars 2, unfortunately, the closest thing we've had to a IndyCar game in decades, and this game hasn't been updated in God knows how long. So good to see we've got some people on the live chat already. Looks like we've got a couple of people tuning in for Nicolo Falzaresi. So we get ready to kick things off. So it's going to be a 100-lap race. We're not going to run the full 500 miles. We're going to run 250 miles. There will be a caution break every 25 laps to allow for pit stops, a re-rack of the grid, if you will. And that is just something that has always been the way as far as how SRL has done their Indy 500. Try and give you a little bit better breakdown of that concept. As soon as I find my notes here. So basically, caution stages, caution drops when the leader finishes lap 25, 50, and 75. So every 25 laps will have a caution break. When you've caught up to the leader at a maximum speed of 180 kph. So on the first lap of caution, that allows the cars to catch up to the leader. The second lap of caution, the pits open and pit stops are possible. Cars that do not pit can continue at a maximum speed of 180 kph. Caution lap number 3 allows lapped cars to overtake the leader and take back one lap. And then on the fourth lap of the caution, we'll go back to green flag racing. In the event of restarts, everyone should stay single file. Leader gets to go between exit of turn 4 in the beginning of the pit wall. So a little bit of a different take on how they do things for the Indy 500, but it's always made for some good racing, some very close finishes in some years past. Now, yesterday they did run a practice session with 8 cars. Actually, I should say 7 cars, because Jensen Randall did participate in the, did not set a time. But as it stands, yesterday's practice, Max Mulder led the way with a 39.620 as his fastest lap. Sandro Duilius was only 20 hundredths of a second behind him. Tim Ventic was third quickest, again 21 thousandths of a second behind him. Nicolo Falzaresi was 0.2 of a second off of that. Dion Stahl, your 4-time IndyCar champion, was 0.2 of a second off of that one. Sam Brandt, a half second back. And then it's Senna Haywire, who participated in the practice session yesterday, was 5 seconds off the pace. And it looks like we might actually be waiting on Nick Van Gelder, your Season 4 F1 champion. Now, he was trying to reinstall the game on his PlayStation. So there's a lot of chatter going on behind the scenes right now. We may actually have Nick Van Gelder. He was scheduled to participate to begin with. Couldn't get the game uploaded in time, but it looks like things might be changing in his favor. And if anybody's been watching SRL for any type of time, then you know Nick Van Gelder is late to just about every single race. He's the only guy I know that would literally be late to his own funeral. So while you're here, like, subscribe, and comment to that YouTube channel. You can check out SRL on Instagram at SRL_F1. Get caught up on the anniversary season, Season 10, that just ended last month. You guys can follow them along for all the news and notes heading into F1 25 on the PlayStation platform. New season will be kicking off in September. Right now, it's all about the Indy 500. And I don't know if they're going to have any more special events along the summer break. I've heard things that they might do the 2.4 hours of Le Mans. Of course, 24 hours of Le Mans is going to be kicking off next weekend. So trying to see here. Well, and it looks like we are going to kick things off. I don't think Nick is going to get in. So unfortunately for Nick, you've had a number of weeks in between the end of the F1 season and the beginning of this to install the game. So that is too bad for Nick, unfortunately. So we are going to do the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Oval, the SRL Indy 500. The 9th running of this annual event. You have a 4-time winner in the field of Dion Stahl, which is ironic. Dion does not do as well in the F1 games, but he has made a name for himself here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway on Project Cars 2, winning the Indy 500 4 times. Going to be going for 5th today. So it looks like we're going to kick things off with a 15-minute qualifying session, which is actually good for me. This allows me to figure out how to operate I need to figure out how to operate the frickin' controls here. I don't want cockpit. Do trackside. How do I... Oh, no, I don't want to do that. How the heck do I change drivers? Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Sorry, everyone. It's been a while since I have had to do this on Project Cars 2. So here we go. Picking up Tim Ventick. Okay, starting to understand a little bit now. There we go. We can hop on board with him. Okay, Tim Ventick. Okay, now we're starting to make some progress here. Max Mulder is fastest so far, 40.180, followed by Jensen Randall with a 40.380, Dion Stahl 48.40, Tim Ventick 40.860, and Sky Schundelmeyer is a 45.940. So and Ivan Brito out on track. Okay, we're getting things a little situated here. This is good. This is good. Sorry about the mass confusion. We only do this once a year, so none of us really prepared ourselves well for this. Oh, no, and around goes, oh, look at this. Ivan Brito almost lost the car. And Max Mulder is at the top of the charts with a 40 flat. I'm going to try and get Nick in here. He's on the live chat. Kind of want to watch Ivan here for a second. Oh, and he catches the curb, slides the car. Whew. All right, invites sent out to Nick Van Gelder. I'll get some co-hosting duties done. Oh, as we see Ivan Brito come out of turn 4, slap the wall. And Nick can at least give us a little bit of an idea of what the actual settings are. I know that there's stock setup. So there's the base setup for the Indy car. They're not allowing any modified setups. I'm not 100% if damage is on. I do know that their tire wear is going to be a factor. I do know that fuel burn is going to be a factor. So, let's see if I can get, here we go. All right, so now everybody has set a time. Max Mulder is the fastest out on track at a 39.694. He's getting a little bit of a slipstream from the target car in front of him. Oh, and Max sliding that back end a little bit. Oh, a target Chip Ganassi smacks the wall coming out of there. And across the line, it doesn't look like he's gone any faster. That's Jensen Randall in front of him in the target Chip Ganassi number 9. So these guys are drafting together, trying to improve their time. 39.694 is your provisional poles. You see the number 10 get out of the way. That, I believe, is Tim Ventic in the number 10, yes. So Tim Ventic currently 7th quickest, half a second off of Max Mulder's pole time. And now he's starting to separate himself from these two guys. But nobody's improving their time or their position. So Jensen Randall and Max Mulder definitely going to be the fastest of the bunch. Pick up Kaz Nuyens. I don't know much about Kaz. I just know he's joined in for the Indy 500 for today, driving one of the Ed Carpenter machines. Currently 3rd quickest at a 39.840. And look how much wheel input he's got into that car. You could see the front wheels were turned hard left. Now with the stock setups, it leaves a lot to be desired because there is a ton of understeer in these cars. I practiced doing this race throughout the course of the week to get an idea of what would be going on, and he is absolutely scrubbing speed and putting a lot of heat into those front tires. Kaz Nuyens able to arc the corner and make the car turn, but look how much that wheel is cocked. And he is going to struggle with tire wear if he keeps that up through the course of this race. You can physically see. If you take a look at Sandro's car, it looks like Sandro might be off the pace. Yeah, it looks like he just got off the pace. So let's go back to Tim Ventic real quick. Watch the front wheels on Tim's car as he comes into the corner. Obviously fighting with a little bit of understeer, especially being in the draft. And he's going to turn in. You barely see the wheels turn on the front of that car. But when you go back to Kaz, even though he's 3rd quickest, watch how much steering input he's got to put into this car to make it corner. Especially if you look at the right front, you'll see how much steering wheel input is in there. Look at that, it's unbelievable. So Kaz Nuyens, he's making things work. 3rd quickest so far, but he has got a lot of steering input, and I think tire wear and tire heat is going to be a huge factor for him throughout the course of this race. So we do have Nick with us in the booth. I know Nick's still trying to download the game. Nick, what's going on, man? Once again, not how I want to talk to you.
Yeah, Lance, I mean, it's good to talk to you again, but indeed I wasn't expecting it, but unexpectedly, despite actually having the game installed, for some reason I had a glitch where I couldn't actually start it. So yeah, I tried to restore the licenses and restore the cache and app data and all that, but it didn't work, so I had to reinstall the game. But it looks like, unfortunately, I'm not going to actually get it installed in time. So yeah, I'm actually pretty disappointed about that because I really like the Indy 500, and of course it's only an annual race anyway, so it doesn't really come up that often, and I was actually looking forward to it. But unfortunately, I'm gonna have to miss out on it, seems, and I would have loved to be on track, but at least we will be able to enjoy the race from this perspective. I did commentate on it last year as well, and that was actually a really exciting race, as was 2020 when I commentated together with Johnny. So it's always a very exciting race, especially at the end, of course, to commentate on as well, but I would have loved to have been part of it.
So 10 drivers for today. Looks like a lot of these guys are heading back into the pits, going to swap out to a new set of tires. And realistically, 10 drivers, only separated by 1.2 seconds. Ivan Brito, the slowest on track. I don't think Ivan set a time in the draft, though, so that's going to be a huge factor when trying to set a qualifying time.
Yeah, the slipstreaming is so powerful around the Indianapolis Speedway, of course, and it does have, of course, the effect of the instability in the corners when you have the dirty air. The car can get very light, but it's definitely an advantage to work together in qualifying, and even in the races as well, of course.
So you've raced with a lot of these guys. You've commentated on this race a number of times. We know Dion Stahl is a 4-time Indy 500 winner. Chances of him making it number 5.
That would be amazing. Yeah, Dion, he won the inaugural Indy 500 in 2017. That was back on Gran Turismo 6 on the PS3. And then he won it again in 2021, 22, and last year in 24. It wasn't like he dominated the race because it was always really close at the end, as it always is, of course, with the Indy 500. But somehow Dion just always manages to just position himself very nicely and come out on top in the end. So he seems to really have talent for oval racing and to place his car right and play his cards well on the last laps, because it's, you know, it's almost like a lottery, isn't it? At the end, you just have to work together with your teammates, slipstream, position yourself nicely, and it's very different in that way to normal racing, where it's, you know, more focused on pace and racecraft. Well, I guess this is also very much racecraft in a very different way. So Dion seems to be very good at that, and who knows? I wouldn't rule him out to make it a 5th Indy 500 victory.
And to the top of the charts, Kaz Nuyens has just set the fastest lap at a 39.640. Max Mulder was the provisional pole sitter. Now Kaz Nuyens has that by 54 thousandths of a second. You can see how close the timing is. I mean, Max is only 54 thousandths of a second behind that. Jensen Randall, 800ths of a second behind him. Nicolo Falzaresi, 0.2 of a second behind that. So realistically, like I said, the field's only separated by 1.3 seconds, which is unbelievable. And it's going to be absolutely manic. Like you said, there's always a big build-up towards the end of this race. So when you're racing, because we don't do a lot of oval racing, obviously, in SRL. We don't do a lot of stage breaks, if you will. Really something that IndyCar started doing before NASCAR. So when you're doing a 100-lap race like this, are you doing a 100-lap race, or are you just doing yourself 3 separate 25-lap races?
Yeah, good point, actually. It's almost like 3 separate 25% races, because you're all building up to that final stage, of course, with the final 25 laps. And yeah, the first 3 stages are just about just trying to be as high up as possible all the time, so that you are in a good position once you have the final restart to challenge for the victory. And yeah, just the first 3/4 of the race is really about just staying out of trouble, and yeah, just to make sure that you don't get involved in any incidents, not get a lap down or something. Of course, if it happens in the first stint, you can still get the lap back, but of course if it happens in the last one, you can't. So yeah, it is really about building up to that final stage and just about being in a good position to capitalize at the end.
So 2 minutes left to play in the session. Provisional pole sitter is Kaz Nuyens with a 39.640 that he did set in the draft. And I've been talking a lot about this. I don't know if you can see this on your feed, but he has got a lot of steering input in these corners. He's kind of going slow right now as he heads into turn 3, but he has got a ton of steering input heading through these corners, and I got a feeling that's going to cause a lot of tire wear and a lot of tire heat as he builds speed here coming around the final corner. Meanwhile, when you take a look at somebody like Max Mulder, there's not nearly as much steering input him heading through the corner. You can barely tell that the wheels are even turning, which is as it should be. So I know Sandro had said earlier in the week that tire wear is a huge factor, especially on the right sides. Being in that position yourself, how much is that going to affect him if the tire wear on the front of the car, you know, there's already a lot of understeer built into the stock setup. Do you think Kaz is going to be able to manage that tire wear throughout the course of the race? And I've lost Nick. We do see Tim Ventic diving underneath here. Tim Ventic currently 39.8, 4th quickest on the board, less than a minute to play. Kaz Nuyens is still your provisional pole sitter. Max Mulder only 39 thousandths of a second off of pole.
Apologies, can you hear me again now?
I can hear you.
Alright, sorry, my microphone probably just had an issue there. But yeah, it is indeed interesting that Kaz has such a different driving style, that he puts so much more steering work into the corners, which will definitely put more strain on the tires. So that could be a downside for him towards the end of the stints. And it might be also affected by the fact that he's one of the few drivers using a controller, whereas of course the other drivers like Max Mulder are using the wheel. Maybe that's one of the reasons why he's using so much more steering lock, but yeah, it must put a lot more load and yeah, wear through the tires.
So time is going to be up here as it comes down 5 seconds. So time's up. I do believe following laps will count. Looks like Tim Ventic might have gotten a penalty. So Max Mulder trying to make a last-ditch run here. And he's not going to have a whole lot of draft to help him through this. So provisional pole sitter might be newcomer Kaz Nuyens, which one is impressive because he's provisional pole, first Indy 500, and he's on pad, as you said. So it doesn't look like anybody's going to be able to top that 39.640. Max Mulder aborts the lap, dives into the pits. And Tim Ventic does come across the line, improves his time, not his position. Nicola Falzaresi up into fourth.
So it looks like Anit Kaznois has secured the pole position, only 200ths ahead of Jensen Rendell. And Max Mulder provisionally in third place, only a further 200ths behind that. So very impressive for Kaznoyens, one of the few pad drivers in the game in the session at the moment. And he's actually made it work with his very unusual driving style to actually secure the fastest lap.
And it looks like the game's having a hard time getting things situated here. And
yeah.
I don't know that there's some sort of glitch. And so we've got guys out of order. Ivan Brito qualified last. Somehow he's not last on track. All right, I think they got it situated now as we get ready to go green. Nice little glitch there in the beginning of the game. Whoa, it almost loses. Oh, and there's already a crash. Oh, my gosh.
Oh. That is very early. Already before we even got to the first corner.
So I don't even think we made it across the yard of bricks before cars started running into each other.
Exactly.
So, it looks like we've lost a couple drivers. I think maybe we're going to do a reset here.
I think so, because also there was no transition between qualifying and the race, was there? It seems like the drivers didn't have any time to actually sort out their fuel strategy and their race strategy and all that, because usually there's always a transfer time between the end of qualifying and then like the waiting lobby before you actually start the race. Because we were just jumped straight into the race, didn't we?
Yeah, it went green really quick too.
Yeah, so it's definitely going to be a restart. So that wasn't the official start yet. That would have been
that's
strange.
Project Cars 2 for you. You know,
Yeah.
they've had 10 years to improve upon this game, and they abandoned it well before they ever even thought about doing a Project Cars 3. So unfortunately, this game was such a great concept and such a good idea, and the engineers and developers just abandoned this game so early on in its development. Never really ran a whole lot of updates for it. So it's definitely a buggy game. As we watch Kaz Nuyens, does he know to possibly leave, or is he waiting on a party invite?
Yeah, he's probably just waiting. I mean, surely he's figured out that this is not.
So we do have SRL on the live
race.
chat. They did say that we are going to do a weird restart. There was a weird bug, which we noticed as soon as we tried to line up for the start of this race.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I agree that Project Cars 2, it is such a good game and such a good concept, and it really has so much potential. It's just a shame that it's so buggy, which is also the reason why the GT3 series was discontinued on this game with SRO. We had a couple of seasons over there too. And there is going to be a new title, Project Motor Racing, which is currently in development. So hopefully that can be what Project Cars should have been, because I really like Project Cars 1 and 2, actually. I think both for online racing, for league racing, and even the career mode was really immersive, and so many racing series and a good handling model as well for the wheel. Unfortunately, not very nice for the pad users. But,
Definitely not nice for the pad.
Yeah, it is. That's unfortunate, of course, for the pad users. But I think for the wheel, it is very realistic, and also the force feedback and all that. It's definitely a good, solid game, but it's just very buggy. So considering we are having a restart, my game is literally at 99% installing, so maybe I can even still make the start
Nick might
now,
make
if I
the
still wait
race.
1 more minute.
Nick might make the race because of the bug in the game. Wouldn't that be something?
It's literally at 99% at the moment, so I think I might have a chance actually. Then I would still actually prefer to be on the track, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be so lucky.
If you get the opportunity, hey, come on, hit that 100%.
Oh, yeah. Wait, let me see. I think it's at 100% now. Join the multiplayer session. I think I made it. We're in.
Oh, hold on, we're going to wait and see if Nick gets in.
I need to, I think I am in.
Oh, Nick is in, so bonus driver. How
lucky is that? But I need to make sure that I select the right car. I think it was number 14.
And it looks like we're going to redo qualifying. We're going to do a 5-minute qualifying. So that means you don't have to start dead last.
Oh wow, mate! How lucky is that?
So, well, this is breaking. Nick Van Gelder is going to race in this year's Indy 500. This is like bump day in real life. Nick's going to make it into the Indy 500. So, Nick, with that being said, you have to join the driver party for the stage breaks.
Wow, that's unexpected. Well, that's crazy. That is insane luck. Anyway, well, Lance, I would have loved to commentate with you. Of course, it was very nice chatting to you, but I'm going to join the guys then in the party.
Good luck in today's race.
Enjoy the race. Thanks, mate. Thanks, mate. See you after the race.
Yes, sir. Well, there you go, folks. You heard it here first. Nick Van Gelder is going to be able to participate in today's Indy 500 very unexpectedly. Thanks to Project Cars and their weird bugs, Nick's going to make it in. So Kaz Nuyens ran a 39.640 if you're still sticking with us through this. He was provisional pole sitter. We're going to redo a 5-minute qualifying session. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like Kaz earned that pole position, but it is what it is. Nick's going to be able to participate. So 5 minutes, that gives everybody pretty much a couple of laps worth of qualifying. So this is where team strategy is going to come in, because you're going to want to team up with your team partner, get a little bit of the slipstream. No, it looks like we've got a couple cars already leaving. So here's Sam Brandt. I hope everybody was able to pick their correct cars. So Max Mulder was second fastest in the last qualifying session. Dion Stahl, didn't talk much about him. We got Tim Ventic out on track, Jensen Randall out on track. Looks like Ivan Burrito out on track. Sam Brandt, Max Mulder, Nicolo Falzarezzi, So I haven't seen an update on the live chat as to whether or how this qualifying is going to work. So we're going to assume that this is going to be just a 5-minute qualifying session like we had, except that was a 15-minute qualifying session. So let's see who's the first driver to set a time. So here we go, coming out of turn 3 into turn 4, we should start seeing some times light up the board. So Tim Ventic fastest, Max Mulder right behind him. Sky Schundelmeyer blows by both of them down the front straightaway. Tim Ventic, Max Mulder, Sam Brandt, Nicolo Falzarezzi, Ivan Burrito, Jensen Randall. Sky Schundelmeyer 7th, Dion Stahl 8th. Try and pick up Nick Van Gelder. There he goes in the AJ Foyt ABC Racing Machine. So he'll come across the line. He'll at least put a time on the board. 8th quickest so far. That just leaves Sandro Dooley kind of all by his lonesome in the yellow number 2 Menards machine for Penske Racing. So Tim Ventic fastest. Actually, Tim was fastest. Max Mulder is now fastest. So he's going 39.940. And Sandro goes 9th quickest. So it looks like Max Mulder has the slipstream advantage right now, using Tim Ventic as the drag him around this track. So, and in the midst of all this, Kaz Nuyens, who had provisional pole at the end of the last qualifying session, now out on track, looking to set a lap time. See if Max Mulder improves upon his time using that slipstream. Tim Bentic to drag him all the way around this track. He's got a good run and a 39.840, so a tenth of a second quicker. See, Kaz Nuyens is building speed. He just came across the line, 25 seconds off the pace. He was building speed throughout the course of that. So Kaz running all by his lonesome. So we did get a little bit of information from Nick while we had him in the booth with us for the other qualifying session. So Kaz Nuyens, one of the few drivers, if in fact the only driver I think right now currently driving on the controller. So that might explain why he's got so much steering input. You play with the controller settings to give you a little bit more steering. He does go 10th quickest, improves his time over Ivan Brito. Ivan Brito in that Fuzzy's Vaca machine. From Ed Carpenter Racing, the Ed Carpenter number 20. Looks like he's bringing Nicolo Falzaresi with him, so Ivan Brito goes 10th quickest now. He's going to let Falzaresi go by him. So time is up. Hot laps will count. Max Mulder still being dragged around the track by Tim Bentic as they come out of turn 4. See if he can improve upon his time. And he does not improve his time. Jensen Randall, it looks like Jensen's going to be off the pace. He's gone second quickest, though. Dion Stahl, your 4-time Indy 500 winner. Third quickest. Tim Bentic, fourth fastest. Sky Schundelmeyer is fifth quickest. Sandro Dulius, sixth quickest. Nick Van Gelder. Looks like Nick has had an issue out on the front straightaway. So from what I can gather, it looks like the settings for this race are going to be as performance degradation. So you'll have tire wear, you'll have fuel burn. However, you'll have a stock setup, a default setup from the game. And it doesn't appear to be that there'll be any damage in the game as well. So even though we had that massive wreck at the beginning. So we're going to try this again. We've got 11 cars in today's race. Max Mulder is the pole winner. Not sure how I feel about that. I really feel like Kaz Nuyens put in a lot of work to get that pole last time by. So we'll keep an eye on Kaz. Kaz currently classified as 10th in the starting order. So Max Mulder, Jensen Randall, Dion Stahl is your front row. Tim Bentic, Sky Schundelmeyer, and Sandro Dulius in the second row. Nick Van Gelder, Nicolo Falzaresi, and Sam Brandt in the third row. And then Kaz Nuyens and Ivan Brito in the last row. So 11 cars in today's race. Not bad considering that a maximum grid for this game is only 16 drivers. So getting ready to kick off the annual SRL Indy 500. It's going to be 100 laps around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. There will be stage breaks at every 25 laps. We talked about that early on. There'll be basically a 4-lap caution. On lap 25, the caution will come out. The first lap of caution will allow the drivers to catch up to the queue. Lap 2 is, I believe, pit stops are open. Lap 3 allows the lapped cars to overtake and get 1 lap back, and then we go back to green flag racing on lap number 4 of that caution break. So just something a little different that they started doing way back in 2017, and they've stuck with that. And here we go, folks. 3 by 3 by 3 by 2. For the 9th running of the SRL Indy 500. Green, 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 we are go, and we've already got some jockeying for position as they spread out 3 and 4 wide down this front straightaway. Jensen Randall out in front takes the lead over Max Mulder. You see Dion Stahl on the outside trying to get a run. You got a couple of cars in the back running way high out of the groove. And look at this around the outside. I don't know who that is. Looks like that was Ivan Brito, had to get out of the gas, but he's moved up into 7th position. Meanwhile, Max Mulder and Jensen Randall side by side. Here comes Dion Stahl to the inside of them, trying to get the 2-for-1 deal as they head into turn 3. And Jensen Randall's up high into the wall. Jensen Randall gets tagged, and there's a big wreck in the back. That's Nick Van Gelder, Kaz Nuyens, Sky Schundelmeyer, Jensen Randall. Meanwhile, Dion Stahl out in front and separating himself from Max Mulder a little bit. We got a 4-car breakaway because of that. So you've got Dion Stahl, Max Mulder, Sandro Julius up in the 3rd, and Season 5 F1 champion Tim Ventic running in the 4th position. So unlike some of the other games, there is no caution flag thrown for the wreck. Meanwhile, Nicolo Falzarezzi is all by his lonesome running in the 5th position. And you see these guys are going to start catching up to lap traffic. Here we go. Max Mulder trying to make a move on Dion Stahl as they head into turn 4. So 4-car breakaway after that wreck from Jensen Randall, Nick Van Gelder, Sky Schundelmeyer, Kaz Nuyens. Max trying to set up a run here as he comes out of turn 2. And these guys are going to be fighting understeer with the default setup, and they're going to be fighting aero wash as well. Sandro Julius to the inside of Max Mulder takes over the 2nd position, so it's a Team Penske 1-2 right now. Dion Stahl out in front, followed by his teammate Sandro Julius. Max Mulder trying to get that position back from Sandro. You see Sandro with that great contrast, that bright yellow car with that bright red helmet, the Ferrari helmet. Dion Stahl, Sandro Julius, the longest tenured teammates in SRL history. And Max Mulder looking at the outside, tries to change it over to the inside. And this 4-car breakaway, Max Mulder trying to keep up with the 2 Penskes out in front. Meanwhile, Tim Ventic sitting in the 4th position. This is what Tim does. Tim did this a ton throughout the course of the F1 season. He sits back, he kind of bides his time, waits to see if something's going to happen between the cars in front of him. Doesn't necessarily make a move unless it's absolutely necessary. He is getting a bit of a run down this front straightaway on Max Mulder. We'll see if he thinks about making a move as they head down into turn 1. Great camera work there. Thanks a lot, Project Cars. So Max Mulder still looking to try and find a way around Sandro Julius. Meanwhile, Dion Stahl out in front, separating himself just a little bit. So you've got this 4-car breakaway. Looks like Sandro looking to make a move on his teammate. See if he makes a move down into turn 1. These guys are so close together. Literally 0.3 of a second separating 1st through 4th. Meanwhile, we'll try and run down the running order real quick. Nicolo Falzarezzi's running all by his lonesome in the 5th position. Sam Brandt running by himself in the 6th position. Ivan Brito, who started in the 10th position, up into 7th. And he's got Sky Schundelmeyer, Jensen Randall, Kaz Nuyens behind him. And then you've got Nick Van Gelder all by himself, 5 seconds back from that. Now, a lot of these guys, Sky Schundelmeyer, Jensen Randall, Kaz Nuyens, and Nick Van Gelder were all involved in that lap 1 crash, lap 2 crash. Meanwhile, the battle is back at the front. It looks like we've got a little bit of a change for position here as Tim Ventic managed to find his way around Max Mulder. Didn't catch the pass. Looks like Max has maybe had a little bit of an issue, maybe ran high, brushed the wall. He's lost a little bit of time now. So we've got ourselves a bit of a 3-car breakaway. Tim Ventic now looking at the back of Dion Stahl's car. Sandro made a pass for the lead. So Sandro is your leader. Dion Stahl running in the 2nd position, your 4-time Indy 500 winner here in SRL. So this is a super interesting top 3 right now. We've got Sandro Julius, who is the owner and president of the league, running in 1st. Races for Ferrari throughout the course of the F1 season. He's never won one of his own championships. He's never won an SRL F1 championship, as we see Tim Ventic making a move around the outside of Dion Stahl. He's going to run high a little bit out of the groove. Dion's going to do the slide job and cut back up in front of him. And look at this. Max Mulder's been able to catch back up to this group, so now it's a 4-car battle all over again. Working lap 9 of 100. Whoa, and there's a big run on the outside. Tim gets to the inside of Sandro. He's going to take over that second position. Sandro gets pushed up out of the groove because of that. And Tim Ventic, your Season 5 F1 champion, up into second place. Meanwhile, Dion Stahl, your 4-time Indy 500 winner, down into third. And Max Mulder, thank you, camera guy. There we go. Still riding in the 4th position. And look at this, Dion Stahl running a little wide, almost brushes the wall. Max Mulder gets a run coming out of turn 2 down this back straightaway as they snake down the back straightaway, try to break up that slipstream a little bit. Max Mulder not close enough to make a move to the inside, unfortunately. But look at this, Dion Stahl way out of the groove in turn 3, runs high, arcs the corner, cuts back down in front of Max Mulder. And now that we're working lap 10, tire wear is going to probably start to become a factor for this. Now we're getting a 2-car breakaway here. Tim Ventic to the outside of Sandro heading into turn 1. Can't make the move stick. Oh, and Max Mulder trying to hang tough all over the back of Dion Stahl. So we've got two car battles going on here. Max Mulder doesn't make a move. He's going to try and get to the inside of Dion Stahl. They're going to be side by side as they come out of turn 3 down the short chute. This is a perfect execution. Max Mulder up into the 3rd position. Great move by Max Mulder to take that away from Dion Stahl. So the 4-car breakaway, now that is settled between third, Max Mulder is going to start trying to catch back up to Tim Ventic here for the 2nd position. Tim on the outside of Sandro. Max Mulder trying to go with him. And look at this run by Mulder as they head into turn 3. He's going to be all over the gearbox of Tim Ventic through the short chute. Trying to get back to that top position, going to run to the outside. And Max Mulder doing some work. Tim Ventic to the outside. Sandro's running the more defensive line. He's going to make these guys try and earn it on the outside of turn 1. Nothing's going to happen there. Max Mulder arcs the corner. Dion Stahl trying to get back underneath of Max Mulder for the 3rd position. This is some incredible racing here. They come snaking down the front straightaway. Sandro's running a great line. Some unbelievable racing here. Max Mulder now. He's all over that gearbox once again of Tim Ventic. And it looks like Dion Stahl's fallen off the pace here a little bit. Tire wear might be starting to become an issue. He's got he's going to be in the aero wash of the 3 cars in front of him, so there's going to be a little bit more steering input into those front tires. A lot of heat's going to build up on that right front. So he's starting to lose touch with this 4-car battle. Meanwhile, Max Mulder and Tim Ventic battling side by side as they head into turn 1. Mulder dives back in line. Sandro Duilius running a defensive line, trying to keep Tim Ventic at bay. And Tim Ventic just swings to the outside. Here, Max Mulder's going to come with him. And Sandro right now is running a perfect defensive line to keep Tim Ventic behind him. Because of that, now Dion Stahl's been able to catch back up to this group here. It's now 4-car battle again. And it looks like they're catching up to the... Looks like that's going to be Ivan Brito is going to be that car heading out of turn 2. So here comes this 4-car battle. Ivan Brito all by himself right now. Working lap 16 of 100. Now remember, at lap 25, there is going to be a stage break. Ivan Brito very kindly gets out of the way of this 4-car battle. Doesn't upset the train here too much. Tim Ventic still second. Max Mulder still third. Dion Stahl still fourth. Sandro Dulius leading the way. Now, under that stage break at lap 25, Ivan Brito will be allowed to unlap himself and get 1 lap back. So he'll be able to put himself back on the lead lap. Look at this, all the way down to the grass. Sandro's going to try and make Tim go around the outside. Now look at this. This is opening the door. Tim's going to try and go side by side with him through turn 3. And now that almost opened the door for Max Mulder to get underneath of him. And here comes Dion Stahl with a perfect run out of turn 4. He's going to be coming down the straightaway. He's going to be on the inside of Max Mulder. He's going to take that 3rd position away. And Dion Stahl showing these guys why he's a 4-time Indy 500 winner here in SRL. Perfect execution to take that 3rd spot away from Max Mulder. Meanwhile, Tim Ventic made the move on Sandro Dulius into turn 1. Worked him and worked him and worked him on that outside. Sandro picked up a lot of aero wash coming out of turn 1 through the short chute. And there's a bit of separation now between these top 4 as we work lap 18 of 100. So now Tim Ventic is your leader, followed by Sandro Dulius in the yellow number 22 Penske machine, followed by Dion Stahl in the number 3 Penske machine. Max Mulder has lost touch with these guys running in the 4th position. Looks like he had a bit of an issue coming out of that final corner. Looks like tire wear starting to become an issue. These guys are starting to drift up high. Now running all by his lonesome in the 5th position is Nicolo Falzarezzi, the Italian. Been running in 5th most of this race. Jensen Randall, the 5-time the 5-time Formula 1 champion, has managed to work his way back up into the 6th position. He's brought Kaz Nuyens with him, running in 7th. Sam Brandt now falling off the pace a little bit, running in the 8th spot. Sky Schundelmeyer was involved in that lap 1 wreck. He's running in the 9th position. Nick Van Gelder is also involved in that wreck, running in 10th. And Ivan Brito rounding out your 11 drivers. We started with 11. We still have 11. Meanwhile, we've got some shuffling going on back here up at the front. This is Dion Stahl and Sandro Dulius getting around getting around Tim Ventic. So Team Penske now running 1-2 again. Dion Stahl, the 4-time Indy 500 winner, out in front with his teammate Sandro Dulius behind him. Tim Ventic running in 3rd. And Max Mulder, after a lot of hard racing, Max Mulder has fallen off the pace a little bit, running in 4th all by his lonesome. And it looks like Max heading into the pits? Max is heading into the pits early. And it looks like Tim Ventic, where's Tim? Looks like Tim might have done the same thing. So Tim and Max Mulder both dive into the pits. That's going to move Falzarezzi up into 3rd position. So we've got some guys making pits. Now, a reminder for anybody that's just tuning in, we're doing 100 laps, but we're doing it in a 25-lap segment. So there's going to be a caution stage break, which they've been doing long before NASCAR started it. So at lap 25, we're going to have a stage break, but it looks like Team Penske is going to come in. So let's try and pick up Max Mulder and Tim Ventic. These guys are going to try and undercut Dion Stahl and Sandro Dulius. Meanwhile, Nicolo Falzarezzi's heading into the pits. Jensen Randall's heading into the pits. And here comes Kaz Nuyens. He's heading into the pits as well. So this is going to be an interesting pit cycle. Now, this is going to be very tricky. You're going to be on cold tires. Cold tires in this game are hard enough to deal with to begin with. It's even harder with the Indy cars. Like I said, we've got default setups. There's a lot of understeer already built into the default setup. So Tim Ventic trying to do the undercut. Max Mulder, unfortunately, did not have as good of a pit stop through that sequence. So Tim Ventic, where is he going to come out in relation to Dion Stahl? He's coming out onto the front straightaway now. And it looks like Dion Stahl is now just exiting pit lane. This is going to be pretty close, folks. Tim Ventic just came across the yard of bricks as he heads into turn 2. Dion Stahl coming out of turn 2. Tim Ventic heading into turn 2. And look at this, Dion Stahl out in front. Tim's going to have a run coming out of turn 2, but it's not going to take long for Dion Stahl to get up to speed. And Dion Stahl retains first position. Tim's still trucking along. So the undercut worked a little bit for Tim Ventic in that he got out in front of Sandro Dulius, who's running in the 3rd position, but he's got Max Mulder all over the back of him, and there's a battle going on now for the 3rd position. Meanwhile, Tim Ventic is using that slipstream to his advantage with Dion Stahl. He's starting to catch up as they come down the back straightaway. And it looks like Dion's going to have a little bit of help there. He's got Nick Van Gelder, looks like, in front of him. So Dion's going to have the slipstream of Dion, while Tim's going to be using the slipstream off of... So Dion's going to have the slipstream off of Nick. Tim's going to have the slipstream off of Dion. Nick's going to try and get out of the way, let these two guys go by as they battle for the lead of this race. Oh, and Nick's into the wall as he comes out of turn 2. Meanwhile, Dion trying to hang tough on the inside. And you see the fuzzy vodka machine there. That's Ivan Brito. And it looks like we lost a driver here. Looks like we might have lost Sky Schundelmeyer. We had 11 drivers. We're now down to 10. If he left, I didn't catch it. Oh, and Nick, what is Nick doing? He makes contact, and there's a massive crash. Nick Van Gelder. Oh, my goodness. Excuse me. They ran into the back of Tim Ventic. Tim is down in the pit lane. Now, Nick is allowed to reset his car to the track in the event that he is flipped over. Unbelievable crash here for Nick Van Gelder. Now, Dion Stahl has come across the line to start lap 25. We are going to go into the caution sequence. So this is going to allow guys to catch back up to the queue, make an extra pit stop. And we'll see, is Nick still... Yep, Nick is still on his roof as he gets hit again. Looks like Dion was trying to flip him back over. I think Nick's probably still trying to figure out how to reset the car to the track. And here we go. Here's another effort to try and make that happen. And yes, Nick is back on his wheels and he gets going again. Beautiful execution there. All right, so we are now under the first stage break of this race. We're going to have one every 25 laps. So lap 1 of this stage break. So lap 25, the caution comes out. The first lap of this stage break allows everybody to catch back up to the queue. Lap 2 of this caution sequence will allow the pit stops to open. People can make an extra pit stop if they want. Lap 3 of that will allow drivers to unlap themselves by 1 lap. So Nick is 2 laps down. He'll get 1 of those laps back. And then lap number 4 of the caution sequence, we go back to green flag racing. So Dion Stahl, once again, he's a 4-time Indy 500 winner in SRL. Out in front. Sandro Dulius is his teammate. Not second, well, second in the running order, not second on the track, as you see here. Nicolo Falzarezzi is up into 3rd. Kaz Nuyens, who's the only driver to be racing on a controller, up into 4th. Jensen Randall into the 5th position. He started in the 3rd spot, had that wreck early on, managed to work his way back through the field a little bit. Sam Brandt is in the 6th position. Tim Ventic through that sequence. He had to make a pit stop. I don't know if he was making an extra pit stop or if he got pushed into pit road because of the incident with Nick Van Gelder. Max Mulder is in the 8th position because of that similar sequence. Ivan Brito is 9th, and Nick Van Gelder, we saw what happened to him. Unbelievable turn of events. Currently running in the 10th position. Sky Schundelmeyer left the race. Didn't even see him do it. I guess he wasn't having a good time. Sky Schundelmeyer, not a part of the normal SRL F1 league. I think he's a reserve driver, so I haven't seen him on track a whole lot. It's unfortunate to see him jump out of the race so early. So an incredible 25-lap sequence that we just had. I'm going to catch my breath. I'm going to take a drink here real quick. This has been an unbelievable race so far. You see some guys heading into the pits. Looks like that might be Kaz Nunez pitting from the 4th position. And it looks like that's the 18. So you got Nick Van Gelder heading in. Maybe Sam Brandt as well that's heading in. Mr. Camera guy. There we go. Thank you for that. Thank you for staring at nothing. So Sam Brandt into the pits as well. So unbelievable. So we've talked about it a lot. We're going to continue to talk about it. Dion Stahl, 4-time IndyCar champion. It's been a really long time since Dion has won an SRL F1 race. Really long time. It's been a long time since he's been on the podium, but when it comes to the sports car racing and it comes to the IndyCar racing, this is where Dion Stahl shines. He's on his way to being a 5-time Indy 500 winner if he keeps it up. Now, his teammate, Sandro Julius, it is the SRL League. That is the Sandro Racing League. He is the owner and president of SRL. Sandro, multiple F1 wins. He's got 10-plus F1 wins throughout the course of the SRL history. He's never won an SRL championship, unfortunately. So it would be kind of interesting to see him win the SRL Indy 500, which is also something that he's never won. As we see a car go around, looks like that was Jensen Randall. Yeah, looks like that was Jensen Randall that went around. So Sandro's never won an SRL F1 championship. He's never won the SRL Indy 500, so running in second currently. Then you've got the very fast Italian of Nicola Falzaresi. He's got multiple SRL wins under his belt, multiple SRL podiums under his belt as far as the F1 season is concerned. He's only run in the Indy 500 a couple of times. Finished 9th last year. And finished 3rd is his best finish back in 2023. Then you've got Jensen Randall, the 5-time SRL F1 champion. Jensen Randall holds every major F1 record in SRL history. Most wins, most points, most podiums, most championships, most fastest laps, most pole positions. He is the Jensen Verstappen, the Jensen Hamilton, if you will, the Jensen Schumacher of SRL F1 racing, currently running in the 4th position. Kaz Nuyens running in 5th. I was told he is the only driver in the field right now currently running on a controller. He's got a lot of steering input. He was very fast in qualifying before we had the glitch in the game. So he's got a potential to have a really good finish here. And we're going to get ready to go back to green flag racing next time by. We've got Sam Brandt running in the 6th position, longtime veteran of SRL. He's going to be taking over the commentating duties for me next season. I won't be able to continue. Oh, no! And that's Falzaresi. And unfortunately, that's going to count as a loss of position. So Falzaresi still falling through. He's going to be now in the 7th spot. You got to be careful warming up them tires under the caution lap. So he was 3rd. He is now 7th. I don't know that they're going to give him that position back. So that moves up Sam Brandt up into the 5th position. Like I said, he's going to be taking over the commentating duties for me next year. Tim Ventic, he's your Season 5 F1 champion. And he's also won the Indy 500 back in 2023 as we get ready to go back to green flag racing. We'll pick up Dion Stahl when the game figures out what the hell it's doing. Thank you. So we're going to be going back to green. It looks like they did give Falzaresi that position back. I'm a little surprised by that. So we're looking at nothing, and there we go. Green, green, green. Back to green flag racing. Dion Stahl with a good jump as they come down this front straightaway. Sandro Dulius in second. Valzarezzi is in third. It's going to get a little manic here through the first few laps of this race. The first few restart laps of this, I should say. Oh, and Sky Schundelmeyer is on the live chat and says he missed his pit box and ran out of fuel. That is unfortunate for Sky Schundelmeyer. That explains why he is no longer in this race. Had to retire the car, unfortunately, for Sky Schundelmeyer. I appreciate him giving us that update. That is a shame. He was having a halfway decent race in the back half of the field, but a lot of opportunities to catch back up under these pit sequences. So it looks like we're getting a little bit of a breakaway here. Dion Stahl and Sandro Giulia starting to separate themselves from Valzarezzi, and Jensen Randall is running third and fourth. Then you've got Kaz Nunez running in the fifth position. He's trying to hold off a hard-charging Tim Ventic running in sixth. You've got Max Mulder in seventh, but he's got a lap car in front of him. That's Nick Van Gelder running in ninth. Oh, and Kaz Nunez bounces off the wall. That's going to allow Tim Ventic to get to the inside of him, and Tim Ventic's going to take over the sixth position. Kaz still struggling with the handling of that car and puts Max Mulder up into the sixth position. So Kaz loses a couple of spots, and he's got Nick Van Gelder on the inside of him. Nick's going to get to the inside of Kaz. Kaz lost a ton of speed coming out of that corner. Meanwhile, Dion Stahl, Sandro Giulia is still trying to separate themselves from Nicolo Valzarezzi. Valzarezzi kind of hanging tough. He's about half a second back from them, and about a second back from that is Jensen Randall. And Lydia F1 on the live chat cheering on Nicolo Valzarezzi, the fast Italian running in the third position, and he is now caught to the back of Sandro Dulius. Now we saw Sandro earlier. Sandro was running a really good defensive line when he was leading this race. He's also going to have to compete with the aero wash coming off of the front or off the back of Dion Stahl's car. But we now got ourselves a three-car battle for the lead of this race. Jensen Randall slowly trying to reel them in and make it a four-car battle. And behind that, you've got Tim Ventic leading another three-car batch. That's Tim Ventic, Max Mulder, and Kaz Nunez, along with Nick Van Gelder, who is a lap car but showing speed here. Would love to try and get back up front and take one of his laps back under green flag conditions. As we see Sandro get in front of Dion. A little bit of a swap of position there. That might be some team orders. See if they can slipstream off of each other, maybe separate themselves from Valzarezzi, but Valzarezzi's not letting them get away too quickly. Valzarezzi to the inside of Dion Stahl. Dion runs a little high coming out of that line. You see Max Mulder in the back there just brush the wall. That's going to allow Kaz Nunez to get to the inside of him. So Kaz is going to pick up the sixth position, and he's now running behind Nick Van Gelder. Remember, Nick Van Gelder is a lap car running in the ninth position. Then between all that, that's allowed Tim Ventic to get to the back of Jensen Randall. So what started off as a three-car breakaway is now a five-car breakaway for the lead of this race as we work lap 35 of 100. Sandro Dulius leading the way with his teammate behind him, Dion Stahl. Here comes Nicolo Valzarezzi in the third position. Meanwhile, Jensen Randall now has caught the back of Valzarezzi. Some unbelievable racing here. It's too bad Nick Van Gelder's a lap down. He's actually running some really competitive lap times right now. If he can stay where he's at for the next 15 laps, he'll be able to unlap himself. And it looks like Jensen Randall's had an issue. Tim Ventic's going to go by. And that allows a three-car breakaway here at the front. Nicolo Valzarezzi to the inside. Oh, excuse me. Valzarezzi gets to the inside of Dion Stahl for the second position. He's going to swing up in front of him. Dion brushes the wall coming out of turn one through the short chute. That's allowing Tim Ventic to catch back up, and now Valzarezzi is in second and starting to reel in Sandro Dulius for the lead of this race. And Valzarezzi is going to have his work cut out for him as we see Tim Ventic get to the inside of Dion Stahl. Couldn't make the pass stick coming into turn three. Can he get a run coming out of turn four and down the front straightaway? Looks like he's going to get to the inside of Dion Stahl. They're side by side as they come across the yard of bricks. Tim Ventic trying to side draft now. Gets to the inside. And they're 2 by 2 as they come out of the corner there for a hot second. Tim Ventic still trying to make that pass on Dion Stahl. Dion Stahl making that outside groove work, but he's not going to be able to hold off Tim Ventic. Tim Ventic takes over the third position. Meanwhile, Falzarezzi trying to find a way around Sandro Duilius, and Sandro working that defensive line down the straightaways, making these guys work for that pass. Sandro has done some great defensive driving today. Unbelievable racing. Meanwhile, you have Dion Stahl now down into the fourth position. Jensen Randall is in fifth, and here comes Falzarezzi to the inside of Sandro Duilius, and Nicola Falzarezzi takes the lead of this race, the Italian out in front. Meanwhile, Tim Ventic in third is now looking to get around Sandro Duilius for the second spot. Here comes Jensen Randall on Dion Stahl. Jensen Randall gets to the inside. Here comes Cass Nuyens. He's going to get to the inside as well. Can he get the position away from Dion? Nick Van Gelder, remember, he is a lap car, tagging along with this battle, running in the 9th position. Unbelievable racing here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Sandro Duilius looking to the outside of Falzarezzi. Oh, and there's contact. Dion Stahl goes around. He's popped into the air. Massive crash. Jensen Randall's involved. Nick Van Gelder's involved. And here comes Max Mulder through the smoke. Massive crash, and now back to the lead of this race. Falzarezzi rubbing wheels with Sandro. Sandro's into the wall as well. That puts Falzarezzi back out in the front. He's got Tim Ventic all over the back of him. Ventic going to go to the outside, and here comes Cass Nuyens running in a third position. Tim Ventic around the outside. Can he make it stick? Yes, he does. Tim Ventic, your Season 5 F1 champion, back out in front of this race. Falzarezzi to the inside, all the way down to the grass, swings back across the back straightaway. Cass Nuyens running in a third position. The only driver on pad. I'm kind of rooting for him because I don't own a wheel myself. Falzarezzi back to the outside of Tim Ventic. Ventic running that Sandro line, the defensive line. But Falzarezzi to the outside, almost gets down in front of him. Big move there by Tim Ventic. That car washes up in front. And now Falzarezzi retakes the lead of this race. Looks like Tim Ventic had a big twitch in the middle of turn 1 and 2. That allowed Falzarezzi to get around the outside of him. And Falzarezzi back out in front, lap 42 of 100. The pit sequence is going to be starting here soon. 8 laps to go in this stage, if you will. We'll have a caution break at lap 50. Now, first time around, they started doing pit stops before the stage break. We'll see if that happens again as these 3 guys have separated themselves from the rest of this pack in all the chaos. Cass Nuyens doing a great job hanging tough with these guys on a controller. And he's looking to get around Tim Ventic for the second spot. He gets a good run coming out of turn 2. Down the back straightaway. Not good enough, though. He's going to lose a little bit of time as he snaked down out of the slipstream. Things have calmed down for the moment. Nicola Falzarezzi out in front. Tim Ventic going to go try and go to the outside. Cass Nuyens is going to try and go with him. See, Ventic's going to try and diamond that corner, arc it back in, see if he can get a run coming out of turn 2 and down this back straightaway. Falzarezzi doing the Sandro defensive line down this back straightaway. Working lap 44. We'll see if some of these guys start to come in here in the next couple of laps for a fresh set of tires, fuel. Hopefully nobody makes a mistake like Sky Schundelmeyer did. Sky unfortunately missed his pit box under the first pit sequence. Ran out of fuel, had to retire the car. Tim Ventic getting a run coming out of turn 2 down this back straightaway. Falzaresi trying to run that half a length down. A little bit of a defensive line going to make Tim Ventic go to the outside. Ventic's going to try and arc the corner a little bit. Gets a little bit of aero wash coming through the short chute. Into turn 4 is going to arc it back in. Meanwhile, Kaz Nguyen's running in the 3rd position, kind of biding his time, seeing if anything will materialize between these two. We've already seen some contact with a number of drivers. We saw Falzaresi get to the inside of Sandro Julius, a little bit of argy-bargy. That put Sandro into the wall. But that was, I don't know, that was really hard defensive driving and really hard offensive driving from Falzaresi and Sandro that caused that issue. And Kaz Nguyen's trying to get to the inside of Tim Ventic. And he might have a little bit of a run coming out of turn 3 through the short chute. See if he can arc that corner a little bit harder. See if he can get a run coming out of 4. And Kaz Nguyen's is getting a pretty good run on Tim Ventic now. So Tim Ventic, instead of thinking offensively, trying to get around Falzaresi, has to start thinking defensively. But Kaz Nguyen's, all the front washes out, and Kaz is going to lose a chunk of time to Tim Ventic. Now Tim Ventic can concentrate on the car in front. That is your leader, Nicolo Falzaresi. It looks like they're starting to catch up to Ivan Brito. Ivan Brito heading into turn 3, running in the 10th position. All by his lonesome. Here comes the 2 leaders. Now, Ivan Brito was very generous the first time leaders came up to him and gave plenty of room for them to get around. And look at this, Ivan Brito all the way down to the inside. He's going to slow down. He's going to get out of the way. He's going to let the top 2 battle it out into turn 1. Working lap 48 of 100. Tim Ventic to the outside. We're getting ready to head into our next stage break at lap 50. Unbelievable run here by Falzaresi, Tim Ventic. They have separated themselves. They are 2 seconds out in front now of Kaz Nguyen's, who is got a 7-second lead over Sandro Julius, who's currently running in 4th. Next time by, the leader will take what we will call the yellow flag. Tim Ventic trying to make a big run on the outside here, see if he can snatch away the lead at the end of this green flag run. And it looks like Falzaresi's going to dive into the pits. Oh, excuse me. Right at the lap 50 stage break, so Tim Ventic's going to take that caution flag. So we should be entering our second stage break, if you will, here at lap 50. The first one was at lap 25. The next one will be at lap 75, and then it'll be green flag all the way from there. But right now we're going to head into our second stage break. Again, this is something SRL has been doing since 2017 when they first did their first Indy 500 on Gran Turismo 6, I believe is what Nick Van Gelder said. You can hear Ventic downshifting. So lap 1 will allow the cars, so lap 1 of the stage break will allow the cars to catch back up to the queue. Lap 2 of the stage break will allow pit stops. Lap 3 will allow the lapped cars to unlap themselves by 1 lap. And then lap 4 of that stage break will go back to green flag racing, and will be green flag until lap 75, where we'll do it all again. Now we know Falzaresi had already pitted, and it looks like we've lost another driver. Looks like we might have lost Ivan Brito. I wonder if Ivan Brito ran into the same issue that Sky Schundelmeyer did and ran out of fuel, or if Ivan Brito decided to call it a day. I'm sure Ivan will let us know as we circulate under caution here. So the end of this break here, we've got Tim Ventic is your leader. Kaz Nguyen is currently running in the 2nd position. Sandro Julius, come on, Project Cars. There we go. Sandro Dulius currently running in the 3rd spot. Jensen Randall is in 4th. Max Mulder 5th. Sam Brandt is 6th. Dion Stahl, the 4-time Indy 500 winner, is in the 7th position. Nick Van Gelder 8th, and Nicolo Falzaresi, he did pit under green flag conditions, has fallen all the way through the field, now currently in the 9th spot. So next time by, we'll allow the pits to be open. Guys can make their pit stops. That'll shuffle the running order a little bit. That'll put Falzaresi back towards the top, obviously. Running that good old Schmidt-Peterson Aero machine, which eventually did become the Aero McLaren team in modern years. So here we go. Pitch should be open, so we'll see some of these guys make some pit stops. I think Falzaresi is going to be the only one that stays out on track. And then lap 3 of this pit sequence will allow drivers to unlap themselves. And it looks like everybody's going to be heading in with the exception of Nicolo Falzaresi. He is going to stay out on track. That is going to hand the lead back over to the Italian. So that is good news for Lydia F1, who has been watching Falzaresi and his progress here, cheering him on from the live stream. So switching tires, looks like we have Tim Ventic is coming down pit lane. And he is going to get out in front of Kaz Nunez. And Kaz is going to get stuck behind all these guys almost. Let's see where Falzaresi is in the midst of all this. Now he does have to maintain his caution speed, which is 180 kph, so about 100 miles an hour for any Americans tuning in. No, actually, I guess that doesn't hand the lead back over to Falzaresi. That puts him a lap. That puts him back on the lead lap. So yeah, that okay. Guess I had my timing and scoring wrong. So that puts Tim Ventic. Tim Ventic is your leader. That puts Falzaresi back on the lead lap in the 8th position. So that's my bad, unfortunately. So Tim Ventic, your leader. Sandro Dulius is 2nd. Every time I switch to Sandro, it just looks at a blurred screen. Oh, there we go. Max Mulder into 3rd. Jensen Randall into 4th. Kaz Nunez into 5th. Dion Stahl is 6th. Sam Brandt is 7th. Falzaresi is 8th, and then you see Nick Van Gelder is unlapping himself by 1 lap. I don't know if that puts Nick back on the lead lap or not. I kind of hope it does, but I really have no idea. So we started with 11 cars. We've lost 2. And it looks like we've got 0 on the live chat. That's Aleski, I believe, from the F1 League, cheering on Max Mulder. So I believe this is going to put Nick back on the lead lap. Oh, we've got Tibbs. Tibbs is Sky Schundelmeyer. He's cheering on Max Mulder as well. So it looks like Nick's trying his best to catch back up to the queue, but he's going to be a little bit behind. Pick up Tim Ventic. Tim Ventic's going to go back to green flag racing. Green, green, green. We're back under green flag conditions, and a great jump by Max Mulder, taking over the 2nd spot from Sandro Dulius, and he's going to bring Jensen Randall with him, it looks like. Max Mulder to the inside of Sandro Julius for that second position. And it looks like Falzarezzi is to the inside of Sam Brandt for the 7th position. So Nick is back on the lead lap, but he is still a ways behind, 6 seconds behind this battle up here for the lead of this race. This is Max Mulder, Tim Mentic. Sandro making a run back at Max Mulder, going to try and take back that second position. Got a good run coming out of turn 4. He's all over the gearbox as they head down the front straightaway across the yard of bricks into turn 1. Mulder runs a little high coming out of that corner. Meanwhile, Jensen Randall starting to creep into the picture. Your 5-time F1 champion starting to creep back into the picture. Three-car breakaway for the lead of this race right now. Sandro Julius running in the 3rd spot. We talked about it earlier. He hasn't won an F1 championship or an Indy 500 in his own league. Always runs good, always seems to run into bad luck towards the end of these races. Oh, Max Mulder runs very high. He brushes the wall coming out of turn 1 through the short chute. Looks like he's going to lose a little bit of speed as they head out into turn 2. Sandro Julius is going to be side by side with him as they come out of turn 2 and down this back straightaway. Sandro going to side draft him a little bit. He's going to be able to get to the inside. Max Mulder is going to give that position up. Great pass by Sandro Julius as they head into turn 3. Max dives in line, doesn't want to lose too much time, and he doesn't want to lose another position to Jensen Randall, running in the 4th spot. Meanwhile, Dion Stahl is trying to hold off a hard-charging Nicolo Falzarezzi as Falzarezzi gets to the inside of Dion Stahl as they head into turn 1. They're side by side as they head out of 1 through the short chute. They're still by side as they head into turn 2. Coming out of 2, Falzarezzi is going to have a little bit better run. And they're still side by side as they head down this front straightaway, or back straightaway, I should say, into turn 3. Falzarezzi is going to finally be able to make that move stick. And he's going to slide up in front of Dion Stahl and take over that 5th position. Meanwhile, Sandro Julius now all over the gearbox of Tim Mentic. Look at the zigzagging back and forth. Max Mulder able to catch back up. You could throw a blanket over these top 3 cars. Jensen Randall incoming, trying to make it a 4-car battle. Sandro's going to move out of line, get to the inside of Tim Mentic. They're trying to make a move down into turn 1. Mentic's trying to hang tough on the outside, not going to be able to make it stick. Sandro's going to retake the lead of this race, and now Tim Mentic finds himself under threat of Max Mulder, and Jensen Randall has officially become a part of this group. It is now a 4-car battle for the lead of this race. To the outside, Tim Mentic trying to make things work. Max going to try the outside, arcs it back in. Despite the close racing, it's a little calm right this second. Try and take a look back here. Look at this 3-car battle. This is Kaz Nunez, Sam Brandt, and Dion Stahl, Nick Van Gelder. Dion Stahl is running in the 6th position right now, right behind Nicolo Falzarezzi. And it looks like Tim Mentic just retook the lead of this race heading into turn 3. Sandro Julius looking to maybe take it back heading into turn 1. No. Some wild, wild racing here. Sandro's going to pull out a line, get to the inside of Tim Ventic. He's going to be able to make that move heading into turn 3. Great move by Sandro Dulius to pick up the lead of this race again. And I want to see what Tim does here as they come out of turn 4 down the front straightaway. So Sandro's going to start running that defensive line. He's been so good at running all day. He did have a little bit of contact earlier with Nicolo Falzaresi, but things have sorted themselves back out, and Sandro back to the lead of this race. Working lap 63 of 100. We'll have another stage break at lap 75. That'll be the last break we have before the checkered flag. So these guys just got to hang on until lap 75. They'll make another pit stop, fresh tires, fuel, and get ready for the last mad dash towards the checkered flag. So 3-car battle here for the lead of this race. Sandro Dulius out in front, Tim Ventic running in second. Max Mulder is third. Jensen Randall's fallen off of this lead battle here a little bit, running in the target. Chip Ganassi, number 9. And it looks like we just lost somebody. Who did we just lose? Oh, it looks like we lost Sam Brandt. And there's a piece of giant debris in the middle of the track. I don't know if that was because of Sam. So I know how this is going to play out. So we'll get Sam Brandt up in the booth, I'm sure, in the next couple minutes. I already sent him an invite. We'll find out what happened to Sam here this late in the race, unfortunately. So we started with 11 cars. We're now down to 8. Still got a 4-car battle going on for the lead of this race. We've got Sandro Dulius out in front, leading the way. Season 5 F1 champion Tim Ventic running in second. Max Mulder looking to make a move on the outside as they head through the short chute and into turn 2. Max Mulder, he's never won. I don't think he's ever won an SRL F1 race, but he seems to shine in conditions like this. The GT races, we used to run the Snowball Derby, which I wish we would do again. He's won that a couple times. He's won the 1v1 tournament in SRL F1, but he's never actually won an SRL F1 race. And we've got Sam Brandt with us in the booth. Sam, what happened? I didn't even catch it.
No, it wasn't a particular specific incident. It was just, every time I crept up behind someone, I would constantly almost loop the car, so decided to retire, not to become a moving roadblock, essentially.
And we are 3 wide down the back straightaway as we head into turn 3, and Max Mulder looks like he's going to get the 2-for-1 deal and try and take the lead of this race as he cuts across the nose of Sandro Dulius. Tim Ventic on the outside trying to take that spot away. Oh, and they make contact! Sandro and Tim slam into the wall. Sandro's in the air. He's now on his side, resets himself back to the track, and he's going to get going again.
Oh, dear.
And Tim Ventic that was Max Mulder, just brushed the wall in the short chute coming out of turn 1. Tim Ventic all over the back end. This moves Nicolo Falzaresi into the 3rd position. He's bringing 4-time race winner Dion Stahl with him in 4th. Jensen has fallen back into 5th. Kaz Nunez is now 6th. Nick Van Gelder has worked his way up into 7th. And Sandro has fallen back into 8th. Sandro only has to hang on until lap 75. We'll catch our final stage break of the race, and he can hopefully get himself resituated and make a run at the mad dash of this race. So what's it like out there, Sam? It's got to be chaotic.
Yeah, it kind of is, honestly. Especially if you're running in a pack like the guys were. It's constantly you have to make sure that you're not doing something stupid or getting too much overspeed, that you have to correct yourself, because one small correction, well, it could be the end of your race and potentially others behind you as well.
And like you said, you were having a hard time, obviously, with the understeer. One, you have a default setup, which already creates a lot of understeer in the game to begin with. Then you get the aero wash when you're in the draft heading through the corners. It just became too much for you to try and overcome, I guess.
Yeah, and I don't know. For some reason, it was just over-rotating in the corner, so almost spinning in every time I came up behind someone. So, yeah, I think it was better to just retire, as I said before.
That's okay. We'll get you in the booth. We've made the announcement. Moving in the next season, you'll be doing the commentating duties. I know you're excited about that. Unfortunately, I won't be doing it anymore, but feeling pretty comfortable getting ready to go step into my shoes.
I think so, yeah. I mean, it's big shoes to fill. You've been here for 7 years, so...
I appreciate that.
And you've done a really, really solid job. Yeah, I think I even said it in the announcement that it's never going to be the same without you, but I'm going to try and bring... obviously, it's going to be my own style, but I'm going to try and bring some excitement to it at least. Try and do my best, obviously. But being Scandinavian, I don't think I could ever match the pure euphoria that you bring with your American commentary style. So, but I'll give it a try.
Well, I'm happy and confident that it is going to somebody that cares about the league just as much as I do. I think that's a big part of what will continue to make SRL. SRL is the heart and love that the drivers, the people involved with the league have for the actual league. There's nothing casual about SRL. We don't have drivers that are just passing through for a season and trying something out. We've had veteran drivers for years at this point. And same thing with the race stewards, same thing with people behind the scenes. Even guys like Theo, who we don't really ever talk about, but behind the scenes, he's still doing stuff for SRL, even though he's never really been in the race, he's never been in the booth, he's still doing things for SRL. So it's good to know somebody like yourself will be taking over the reins. And despite me not being able to do it anymore, I'm still looking forward to next season.
Yeah, and it's funny that you should mention Theo just before we get to this third and final caution. People might not know it, but they see what he does pretty much every single time we have a race, because obviously the standings and all of that kind of stuff, the visual graphics that we post on the Instagram, that's all his work. So you may not know it, but there's people behind closed doors in SRL who are working their socks off every single weekend. So it's going to be exciting.
We see Max Mulder here trying to make a move around Tim Ventic here at the end of this stage break, trying to get that lead. So this is going to be the last hurrah before we get to go into this last green flag run. These guys are going to have the last chance to pit, fuel, tires. I mean, what kind of pressure is that? I mean, you've done the Indy 500 a couple of times before. What's it like heading into this final stage break, knowing it's going to be your last chance to try and set things right?
It has the potential to create a lot of chaos. Oh, my bad, it's at the end of this level, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah. It has the potential to create a lot of chaos, because you know that if you're, for example, someone like Nicola Falzaresi right now, who's sitting in P4, you know that you're going to have to get past Dion. You know you're going to have to get past Max as he passes Dion here just before the caution. Because he's going to want to have a shot at this race lead. So it's going to be very difficult for the people who are sitting 4th, 5th. People at front, they're also going to be looking in their mirrors a lot, and people at the back, they're just going to be hoping for absolute Armageddon at the front, because that's their only ticket to potentially win this final sprint of 25, well, just over 20 laps.
So here we are, we're entering our final stage break of this race. Tim Ventic comes across the line. He is the leader as it stands right now. Max Mulder second, Nicola Falzaresi third, Dion Stahl fourth, Spencer Randall fifth, Kaz Nunez is sixth, Nick Van Gelder has managed to work his way back into seventh, and Sandro Dulius, who had that massive crash on the front straightaway, is currently eighth. And Sandro, I mean, gosh, been talking about him a lot today. He's been out in front of this race. He's been doing some really good defensive driving. We talked before the race. He always seems to be running strong, and then he always seems to have a bit of bad luck when it comes to this race towards the end.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because much like Dion, he is a guy who first of all, takes this event very, very seriously. He does a lot of practice, and he pretty much has the strategy nailed down to a T. But as you say, he's just had so many unfortunate events happen to him that we haven't seen him win it yet. But who knows? Even though he's P8 right now, he might be able to walk away with it today if he's lucky.
Well, and I think you said the right thing there is that things have happened to him. Rarely does Sandro make a mistake, even in the F1 game, rarely does Sandro make a mistake that hurts him. Things always seem to happen to him, as it would say.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's really unfortunate because, Sandro, and I commend him for this because he has been very fair as far as a team president and a league owner throughout the course of the years. He's never won his own championship. He's never won his own Indy 500, and I think it would be fitting for, the 9th running, the 10th anniversary season of SRL to finally lock up, a big win like that for him. So
Yeah, it definitely would be, especially when you see... we say it time and time again, no discredit to Dion, but he's won it 4 times. But you have to say at least 2 of those times, probably he wasn't the fastest driver, honestly.
And here we go. We're going to start our pit sequence. Everybody on the lead lap this time. So this is going to be really interesting. The last 20 some odd laps of this race as everybody heads into the pits. So nobody's going to have to unlap themselves.
No, this is going to be interesting. And obviously people are going to be taking as little fuel as possible with this final caution. Essentially, you just want to run out of fuel as you cross the line.
And I want to give a big shout out here to Kaz Nunez. I've been watching him a lot today. He was very fast in qualifying pre-bug lobby. The only driver apparently in the field that's driving on a controller, and he has been making it work pretty daggone well. I know that I've practiced earlier in this week on the controller. I don't think I could do what Kaz is doing. So he's currently going to be 7th as they come out of the pits. And Nick Van Gelder, because of the bug, was able to join the race at the very last minute. He was 2 laps down at one point. He's now back on the lead lap. He's running in the 8th position, Season 4 champion. Be interesting to see what he can do. And it'd be interesting to see his driving style because we know Nick likes a very loose-handling race car, and that is just not something that's happening right now with all of the understeer built into the default setup. And I think what you were experiencing was what would be referred to as a snap understeer, where you're putting so much steering lock into the car, it creates a lot of understeer, and then when it finally catches, it creates the snap oversteer.
Yeah, and that's definitely something. Obviously, most of us are not used to driving Indy cars. We're used to driving Formula 1 cars, or if we go a little bit further back in time, GT3 cars. They are very different machines than these beasts. And when you put that in a pot together with the fact that we're racing at an oval with banked corners, which is also something we pretty much don't do throughout the entire Formula 1 calendar, except maybe... You could argue that
Zandvoort
at the last corner, but I mean, you're taking it with so much speed that basically does become a problem. So this is uncharted territory for most of us at the end of a season of racing in Formula 1, where we have had circuit racing with ground effect cars, and then we come to this. And these are old machines as well, you have to remember. These are not modern machines of 2025. These are back from 2016.
It's actually even older than that. It's a DW12 chassis, so it's actually from 2012 with the 2016 Aero kit. So we've got Season 5 champion Tim Ventic leading the way. Season 5 F1 champion. Then you have 5-time F1 champion Jensen Randall in second. Nicolo Falzarezzi back up into third. Then you've got Sandro Duilius running in fourth. His teammate and 4-time Indy 500 winner, Dion Stahl, in the 5th position. Come on, graphics, what are you doing? And it looks like we are back to green flag racing.
And Tim has got a good gap.
But it is chaos in the back here. 3-4 wide down this front straightaway. Nick Van Gelder up into the 6th position now. Side by side is Dion and Sandro. Dion bounces off the wall. Sandro's to the inside. But Dion able to maintain his speed and take over that 4th position. And it's a 3-car breakaway at the front. 20 laps to go for the Indy 500 here at SRL. And Falzarezzi's to the outside of Jensen Randall.
The Italian is hungry.
The best he's ever finished in this race is 3rd. It's where he's currently running. He wants to get ahead of Jensen Randall, and Tim Bentic bounces off the wall coming out of turn 4.
Oh, and Jensen forces him to the pit wall.
Side by side as they come into turn 1 once again. Jensen Randall's going to be on the outside. A little bit of aero wash on Falzarezzi's car. And look at this. Dion Stahl and Max Mulder both bounce off of the wall coming out of turn 1. Sandro Duilius is falling back into 6th.
This is going to be some hectic last couple of laps here.
Things settle down for the moment at the front. Tim Bentic still leading the way. Jensen Randall 0.2 of a second behind him. Nicolo Falzarezzi right behind him. 3-car breakaway. Meanwhile, Dion Stahl going to try and get back to the front here, but he's bringing Max Mulder with him. And here comes Sandro Duilius. Gets a good run coming out of that corner. Sandro's only got a little bit of time to try and pick these guys off one by one.
He's going to have to be smart about it. Max is not an easy guy to get past, and he knows that.
Oh, and Kaz Nunez brushes the wall coming out of turn 1 through the short chute.
We have a break for P2 here. Does he defend it? Yeah, he manages to defend it, Jensen Randall here. Ooh-wee.
And the top 3 are starting to get reeled in by the next 3 cars, 4th, 5th, and 6th. And here we go. Falzarezzi to the inside of Jensen Randall as they head down across the yard of bricks. Falzarezzi to the inside of turn 1. They're side by side. Falzarezzi's going to try and get up in front of him. Can't get there. Jensen Randall up against the wall, trying to hang tough. And still side by side through turn 2.
Falzarezzi is getting the draft here from Benting.
And Dion Stahl trying to take that line with him and get a little bit of slipstream. And look at this. Nick Van Gelder still in 6th now. As Max Mulder, the pack is caught up. It's now 8 cars for the lead of this race. 17 laps to go. Falzarezzi now looking to make a move on Tim Bentic down the front straightaway. Bentic's going to take the inside line.
What's going to happen?
Oh, and they brush! Oh, Falzarezzi up into the wall. Comes back across the line of cars. Almost takes out Dion Stahl. Falzarezzi falls back into the 6th position, and there's contact. Oh, and it's Sandro. And look at this. Falzarezzi is up, over, and gone into the wall. Has to reset himself to the track, and that's going to do it for him. He's going to be done for the day. He's going to have to run in the 8th position. Meanwhile, Sandro Duilius was a part of that, falls back into the 6th position. He is all by his lonesome. He's got no drafting help. He's off the pace. Heartbreak again for Sandro Duilius.
Yeah, that must be done day for all 3 of them at the back, Sandro, Kaz, and Nicolo.
It's not over yet. Anything could happen, as we've seen. We've got a 5-car breakaway now for the lead of this race. Max Mulder to the inside of Jensen Randall. Dion Stahl, the 4-time Indy 500 winner, still a part of this battle, gets to the inside of Jensen Randall. And Nick Van Gelder, of all drivers, running in the 5th position, was late to the party, couldn't get the game installed, was commentating, had every intention of watching the race, being in the booth with me. The bug at the beginning of the first lobby saved him, got him in late. It was like watching bump day in real life. He gets into the Indy 500, and here he is running in the 5th position.
And what a spread of drivers we have here at the front. We have a one-time champion leading. Then we have Max Mulder, who is should we say, a demon at these one-off events. Then we have Jensen, a 5-time champion, and Dion, who's won this race 4 times. And
Nick Van Gelder just got around Dion Stahl for the 4th position.
This is
And he's
close.
looking to make a move on Jensen Randall. Meanwhile, Max Mulder looking to get around Tim Ventic. What is going on with this stupid camera at turn 3 and 4?
Someone needs to fire that cameraman.
Max Mulder to the outside.
Oh, this is going to be hectic. It's a 1-2-3 for Chip Ganassi at the moment.
Meanwhile, we've got on the live chat 0. That's Oleski is cheering on Max Mulder. Lydia F1 was cheering on Falzarezzi. We saw what happened with that.
Yeah. I mean, it might be a 1-2-3 for Ganassi, but I'm not sure they have agreed on which order they should finish in at the moment. This could finish in any order, basically. And here comes
Nick Van Gelder looked like they're making a move on Jensen Randall to the inside. Max Mulder to the inside of Tim Ventic.
He takes the lead. Oh.
And he's going to be able to shoot up in front of him. Yes, Max Mulder to the lead of this race. Nick Van Gelder falls back into 4th, thought about trying to make a move on Jensen Randall. Cuts back in line. Looks like Ventic just brushed the wall coming out of turn 2. Meanwhile, Dion Stahl running in the 5th position. Looks like he might be biding his time, hoping something happens in front of him. And as you said earlier, this has been a couple of times that Dion Stahl might not be the fastest driver, but he might have been in the best position and one of the smartest drivers of the day to pick up those 2 extra wins.
I mean, the records would show it, for sure. Here comes Venting for the lead.
Ventic
past Mulder.
Gets in there, and look at that. Mulder's going to wash out, runs up towards the wall. A 5-car battle for the win of the Indy 500. It'll be 10 laps to go next time by. Sky Schundelmeyer is on the live chat as well, saying, "Let's go, Max."
I think Max has a big following for this race. Obviously, he's always unfortunate. He finished the F1 season. Oh!
No! And Max Mulder goes around!
Oh! He is looped it
Oh,
around.
and Max Mulder's into the catch fence. That is going to be day done for Max Mulder. He'll reset himself back to the track, but that is going to do it. Commentator's curse.
Oh, that's so unfortunate for Max.
And that moves Nick Van Gelder up into the 3rd position, your Season 4 F1 champion. Again, late to the party, late to the game, running into 3rd spot. Jensen Randall, 5-time champion, to the outside of Season 5 champion. 3 F1 champions running 1, 2, and 3 right now. And then a 4-time Indy 500 winner running in 4th spot. This is an unbelievable spread of drivers we're watching. Jensen Randall side by side. Dion Stahl bounces off the wall coming out of 4.
This is the creme de la creme of SRL drivers right here on your screens right now.
Side by side, Tim Ventic and Jensen Randall. They've been that way since lap 90, turn 3. They can't make the move. Ventic's finally going to get to the inside.
Van Gelder, he is there. He is looking.
Van Gelder just has to time his passing. And here comes Dion Stahl with a great run through the short chute. And look, as Tim Ventic's actually separated himself a little bit from these 3 cars. It's not by much, but every little bit counts right now.
I think Randall got a little bit of aero wash there that set him back through turn 3. That's going to help Van Gelder and Dion Stahl behind him. But look, they're already catching up again through turns 1 and 2. I do wonder, Jensen Randall has won the Monaco Grand Prix, has won the 24 Hours of Le Mans in SRL. If he wins this one, it is the triple crown for the 5-time champion. And he will be looking to try and get that final victory into his repertoire.
So these guys have now all caught back up to Tim Ventic. 7 laps to go this time by. Unbelievable racing. Oh, and Van Gelder washes out heading into turn 1. That's going to allow Dion Stahl to get to the inside. And Dion Stahl looking to make it 2 for 1 as they head into turn 2. Couldn't make it stick. Jensen Randall takes the defensive line. And now Tim Ventic pulls out from that battle once again. And I think you're right. It looks like every time Jensen gets a little too close to Tim Ventic's car, the aero wash just makes him lose ground. And the other guys behind him have to check up.
Yeah, it kind of looks like that. But I do wonder right now, we saw Dion Stahl making a move for P3. Are we seeing the masterclass being put on by Dion Stahl? Is it 5 times for the Dutchman?
6 laps to go. Jensen Randall to the outside of Tim Ventic. Not going to be able to make it stick. Arcs the corner, tries to cut it back inside. Van Gelder looking to make a move on Dion Stahl.
Gets a great run there, Dion. To be fair, so does Jensen. This is going to be so close over the line.
Van Gelder gets a good run heading into turn 3. He's all over the gearbox of Dion Stahl through the short chute. Meanwhile, Jensen Randall trying to close that gap back down to Tim Ventic. 5 laps to go.
Here we go.
Well, Tim spent a lot of time earlier behind Sandro, and Sandro was running a perfect defensive line into turns 1 and 3. And I'm looking to see Tim took some notes of that.
Here comes
all the
Randall.
way down to the grass.
He has a good run. It's not good enough, though.
This is unbelievable racing. 5 laps to go. Nick Van Gelder trying to get to the inside of Dion. Couldn't make it work there heading into turn 3.
And now
Jensen's got to run coming down the front straightaway.
He's on the outside. It's not the preferred line. Can he do it?
Oh, and he's going to cut across, and there's contact!
Oh!
And he saves it! How does he save that?
Oh, my days!
And Dion Stahl up into second place. The 4-time race winner is now up into second. Nick Van Gelder running in third. Jensen Randall, despite saving the car, lost a huge chunk of time. He's out of it. Unless something else happens, it'll be 3 laps to go this time by. Tim Ventic still out in front.
Oh my days, what a save from Jensen Randall, but you would have to say he's probably out of the running right now.
Dion Stahl gets a run. Here comes Nick Van Gelder to the outside. Going to try and make something happen going into turn 1. Couldn't make it work. Dion Stahl washes out, hits the wall. Van Gelder to the inside, takes over the second position heading into turn 2.
And
Nick Van Gelder, your Season 4 F1 champion, running in the second position right now, closing the gap to Tim Ventic, your Season 5 champion.
This is going to be a battle between champions, and right now Dion, what he's hoping for is what we have seen.
And look at the run he gets out of the short chute and down the front straightaway. Nick Van Gelder going to the outside, going to try and take the lead of this race. Can he get in front going down into turn 1 across the yard of bricks? 2 laps to go.
That outside line is proving too difficult for Van Gelder. He's going to have to bide his time. But he's running out of laps.
This is going to be so close. Working lap 98 of 100. It'll be 2 to go across the line. He gets a good run coming out of 4, swings to the outside. Once again, Tim Ventic trying to take that inside line away. That's a good run by Van Gelder, but he hasn't been able to make that outside line work just yet. Swings it back to the inside. They're side by side through 1 and 2. Look at this. Unbelievable run.
So close. So close.
Van Gelder's going to have a great run coming out of 2 down this back straightaway. Tim Ventic's going to snake down this back straightaway. He's going to make Van Gelder go to the outside.
Seems like it's worked so far for Tim Ventic to do.
And he's going to try and do a crossover. White flag lap. This is it for all the marbles. I think Nick Van Gelder led that lap at the line to the outside. They're side by side through 1 and 2. Van Gelder's going to try and get him around the outside through the short chute. Van Gelder to the lead of this race. Van Gelder through turn 2 takes the lead of this race. He's going to snake himself down the back straightaway, separate himself from Tim Ventic. Tim Ventic, does he have anything left in the tank heading down towards turn 3? Oh my God, the fucking camera! Nick Van Gelder heading into 3 and out of 4. Your Season 4 champion is going to win this race across the line. Nick Van Gelder is your 2025 Indy 500 champion. What a race for Nick Van Gelder. What a day.
Wow.
The man who didn't think he was even going to be able to race today had everything fall his way to take the win of this race on the last lap as they came across the line. Unbelievable finish to the 2025 SRL Indy 500.
Whew, what a race from Van Gelder.
What an absolute Cinderella story. Didn't even practice the race. Didn't even practice all week. Couldn't get the game to start.
He was upside down at one point.
What an unbelievable race. The amount of stuff that Nick had gone through to make this happen is unbelievable. Didn't even practice all week. Goes to fire up the game, and it won't start. He's got to reinstall the game. We go qualifying, and he's only at 20% during the first 15-minute qualifying session. Luckily, there's a bug in the game. The lobby goes blank. We have to do a restart. Nick's game gets installed 100%. I can join the race, he says. And, man, he starts last. He's upside down. He's 2 laps down. What an unbelievable finish to this race. Nick Van Gelder, your Season 2025 Indy 500 champion. That is amazing. By only half a second over Tim Ventic. What a race.
Wow. That took the breath away from, I'm pretty much sure, everyone who was watching. That was nail-biting to the end. Oh, wow.
We got to get Nick in here.
Oh, wow.
We got to see if we can...
And commiserations for Tim Venting. He was so close last year. He was so close this year. But once again, he was bested by another driver. Dion Stahl finishes P3. Oh, wow. What a race. That has to be the race of the season, for sure.
We'll see if we can get him in here and interview him. I'm sure he's... Now, the live chat says Nick wasn't live. I don't understand what that means. How was Nick not live?
I don't think he was live streaming, perhaps.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I bet he wasn't because he had to make a mad dash to get into the game. Yeah, he wasn't live streaming any of that.
Oh,
wow.
What a live stream that would have been if we had seen the winners POV. Wow.
Oh.
But just before we get... I suppose before we get Van Gelder in here, we could do a quick rundown of the finishing order. Would you do us the honor, Lance?
I didn't even catch it all. I'm out of it.
Oh, well, then I'll do it. Well, Nick Van Gelder is your 2025 Indy 500 winner, followed by Tim Venting, and then it's Dion Stahl rounding out the top 3, followed by Jensen Randall, Sandra Doolis, Karst Nuchians, Max Mulder, and last of the finishers is Nicolo Falsaresi. And of the non-finishers, it is myself, Samuel Brandt, then it is Sky Schandelmeyer and Ivan Brito.
Wow,
what a race.
Unbelievable race. That is intense. That is SRL's best race ever, maybe. Maybe with the exception of Season 4 Brazil. Where Nick Van Gelder won his championship. So 2 of the biggest races and best races ever Van Gelder has won.
Yeah. I mean, wow. That has to be right up there with some of the craziest finishes at Indy.
And Senna on the live chat saying Tim is the new Pato Award. That is some harsh words for Pato and Tim.
Well, maybe we'll see Tim next year. Pato Award did manage to win, so... Oh, no, he didn't. That's my bad. I was thinking Alex Palou.
Yes, Palou won.
Palou won. Oh, wow. And I was thinking all the way through, these are, of course, the upcoming Red Bull teammates. If they crash, during this race. It's going to be hell breaking loose at the start of the next season. But thankfully, we kept it clean. Oh.
Apparently my son was watching the live stream on his phone. He just texted me. He says, "Holy, what a finish. Nick is goated." That's my 13-year-old son watching the live stream while he's at a doctor's appointment.
I mean, we have to give it to Nick. He is a one-time Formula One champion, and now he can call himself a one-time SRL Indy 500 winner. So I suppose that is what makes one of the greats in SRL.
So I guess Nick is not going to join us for an interview, unfortunately.
Well, it seems like we lost him in the crowd when he tried to climb the fence.
He's climbing the fence, yes. Unbelievable race. That is insane. That is just everything that went wrong and then went right. That has got to be a topsy-turvy day emotionally for Nick.
That has to be one of his races of all time, for sure.
That is, man, what a day. What a way to finish out. So I guess this worked out, really. I guess this worked out with you trying to race today, because otherwise I was going to be on track, and I was definitely going to be in the way of all this. And what a last race to call.
Well, yeah.
To close out my tenure with SRL as a commentator. And hopefully someday I'll be back, but for the foreseeable future, it's just not in the cards. But, man, that's what a race. What a race. I'm happy for Nick after all these seasons of watching him, win that championship, and then the decline of his performance and some of the driving issues that he had with the handling models and just all the issues he had today going into the race and not making the race and then making the race. Just, man, that is a wild career he has had, and unbelievable. What a way to finish out my tenure, and a good intro into what you're going to have to be looking forward to next year.
Much like we've done throughout this season a couple of times, well, it was nice to trade over, I suppose, be in the booth one last time together this season.
Yeah, and who knows, maybe I'll step in for Indy 500 next year, unless that's going to be on a different game.
Who knows?
So, guys, if you're tuning in for the first time, like, subscribe, and comment to the YouTube channel. Check out SRL on Instagram at SRL_F1 for all of the news and notes heading into next season. F1 25 on the PlayStation platform will be season 11 for SRL. This has been the 9th running of the SRL Indy 500, so they'll have their anniversary, Indy 500 next season. So be sure to tune in for that. I guess the new season, F1 25, will kick off September, late August.
That is the plan, yes, at the moment. But we can't say more than this, but stay tuned, because who knows? Maybe we go racing a little bit earlier.
And what is Le Mans scheduled for later this year as well?
We cannot say more than this, Lance. I will just say stay tuned on Instagram, because it will be very exciting in the coming months, for sure.
So
that is all we're going to say.
Be sure to follow along, people. Something is coming down the pipeline. I don't know what it is, but I'll be tuning in for sure. So like, subscribe, and comment to the YouTube channel. Check them out on Instagram at SRLF1. I'm Kamikaze Fox. This has been Sam Brandt. This has been the SRL Indy 500 2025. Nick Van Gelder is your winner, and we'll see everybody at the next round.
Goodbye.